Scarpins Avenue.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sklar Bro Country, the virus edition, a.k.a. the Pandy Pods.
A.K.A. Two Jews, no harm in Killabrews.
A.k.a. wobbling the good and popping the hood. Thank you, Mike Huddleston, a.k.a. the Huddletron, a.k.a. Old Zealand.
A.K.A. the A.K.A. guy.
A.k.a. the A.K.A. guy. You said there was another one.
Someone at the very top.
I'm going to
search. At the very top of our feed.
Yeah.
Tagged on to, I think, a Huddletron one.
What, did they?
Pretty recently. Check it out.
I'm checking. I can't find it.
A.K.A. Two Bros, no garden hose.
Well, all right, fine. A.k.a. two bros up your nose with a rubber hose. How about that one?
Something about Okendo, getting him into the Hall of Fame. Something about Hall of Fame.
A.k.a. fine star chaps who spar on saps on Sklar maps. Did we do that yesterday?
Not sure, but we got it.
Let's jump in, shall we, right
yes,
away? We've
let's
got stories. We got lots of stuff, and we want to go over this right now because I think we're all going a little stir crazy. Let's tap into it. Let's talk about the fact that you're at home. My kids want to hug their friends. They want to just hang out with people. I was thinking to myself, how far effed life has become to the point where, like, I was thinking about going to a restaurant. Like, that's just something we haven't done. And I mean, yeah, I guess we can eat outside. And I really do commend all the restaurants in my neighborhood that have put stuff out they've turned their parking lots into patios, and they've done good for them. The weather's going to turn to much of the country, and you're not going to be able to do that anymore. I guess you'll have to put up a tent, maybe heaters, and see if you can't do that. But it's almost like indoors at that point.
Right.
So I'm just nervous about this. We're going a little stir crazy. Our mom, God bless our mom, who we've talked about on the show. She's been through 2 strokes. She is at home. She's quarantining. She's got lung and heart issues. So she is like the queen of underlying conditions.
She has every pre-existing condition.
She cannot go out and see people. That's just not something she can do. However, she's doing virtual dinners with friends. She's playing virtual mahjong, which has to be, I mean, that's got to be fun.
That's the most Jewish thing ever.
Ever. I mean, even though mahjong is a Chinese tile game, you can't get more Jewish than a Chinese tile game.
Yes.
So she's doing all that stuff, but she just said she used to go to synagogue. I mean, she used to play mahjong with her friends. She used to go to the JCC. She used to go to the synagogue all the time.
She used to go to volunteer at
a food pantry. She interfaced with people a lot.
Yeah.
And, recently she said that she really misses her friends. I don't blame her.
I don't blame her either.
And, had there not been a pandemic, Jay would have been out there for a week over the summer. I would have been out there with my family over the week for the summer. The high holidays coming up this weekend. She would have been here. She would have come back for Thanksgiving.
We would have seen her like 3 or 4 times.
At least 4 times up to this point, and it's just over FaceTime right now. So that is a problem, and it sucks. And we can see it in our mom, but at least our mom isn't really going crazy like this next guy in this next story.
Sure.
Okay? Take solace in the fact that you don't live in LaGrange, Indiana. LaGrange, Indiana. A man high on meth apparently shot up the inside of his house after imagining people were trying to break in and steal some of his belongings this past weekend, according to LaGrange County Sheriff's Department.
Was he shooting it up because he was worried they'd take his stuff, or that they came in without masks on and they weren't?
I'm sure this was a mask issue. But, how do we know this isn't him just going crazy because he's been on lockdown or he's just been inside? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know that meth necessarily makes you think you see people. I didn't think meth was a hallucinatory drug.
Hallucinogenic. But, I mean, here's the deal. This guy, think about him. As an old man, a lot of things are being taken away from him in this world. There aren't kids running around neighborhoods, so he can't go out on his lawn and tell kids, get off my lawn.
They're already off.
Right. No one's there. These are tough times for old men to do old men things. This is no country for old man right now.
You have to turn to meth to spice up life a little bit, I guess.
Spice it up a little bit. Maybe, you're doing it in the comfort of your home. I got to give him credit for that.
But if you're shooting anything up, you got to deal with that aftermath afterwards.
The walls, heroin.
Yeah.
Anything.
You're
going to have to clean
up.
This
guy shot up and then he shot it up.
That's right. You're going to clean up a mess. I'm not going to say it's safe, but it is safer than going out, though.
Safer than going to Sturgis.
Right. Safer for the old man, safer for all of us. Police began their investigation on Sunday after receiving a report that a man was yelling and swinging a broom handle on private property. How is this different from any other day? How is this different from time outside of the pandemic? How do we know he wasn't trying to get down a spider web?
Yeah, because it's hard to tell people from far away what you're doing.
This is the old Brian Regan bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea that like he's, swinging a broom handle.
It is a spider web. It's got to be a spider web.
He's swinging and missing at the spider web. He's cursing out the spider that's in his house. I can think of a number of scenarios where you will wildly swing a broom handle.
Yes.
And it's acceptable for an old man.
Yes.
For an old man who's been cooped up too. Let's talk about that.
Let him get the bejeebers out.
Just swinging a broom handle
the broom handle around
to get the literal and figurative cobwebs out.
That's correct.
Right? You're loosening it up a little bit. This is old man yoga.
This is old man Peloton.
That's right.
This is old man
mirror. This is how old men have stayed in shape for years by wildly swinging broom handles that looks like they're going crazy.
Most active thing the guy could do.
Just, get him hot under the collar. That's better than hot yoga for this guy. He's going to start swinging. This is a great upper body workout, and it's cardio. Check the guy's resting heartbeat after he's wildly swung a broomstick. You tell me why isn't there old man aerobics?
If you swing a broom handle at imaginary robots that you believe are attacking you and also attacking the earth, you're going to get in the 130 heartbeat zone.
Absolutely.
120 to 150.
Fake, mime like you're opening a door and pointing at kids to get off your lawn. That's going to be a shoulder rotator cuff.
So there needs to be an old man workout.
Can we please get an old man workout video going?
That would be the best.
Old man
pulling up the pants, like 18 pants pull-ups.
Listen, it's not sweating to the oldies. It's sweating with the olders.
That's right. Sweating with the elders.
Sweating with the oldies. Do it, Simmons. You're our friend. Do it. All right. When deputies arrived on the scene, they found a man identified as Mark King of Walcottville. I
am Mark King of Walcottville.
That's right. Walcott. Anyway, under the influence of drugs, but he wasn't driving anywhere. He was staying put.
That's
standing his ground against an imaginary person in his mind.
Who's he bothering?
In his own home.
He's shooting up his own house.
They determined that King had consumed methamphetamine on Friday and Saturday. Yikes, that's a lot of meth.
And that's what triggered the hallucination.
That's right. Yeah, that's going to make the weekend go really fast.
That's going to amp it up, though. It's going to spice it up.
Going to make it more interesting. You thought you weren't going to have any visitors, did you?
Well, you
do.
Kind of did.
After engaging in a gun battle with imaginary people inside of his home. Now, hold on a second. How is it a battle, Jay? If it's just him shooting imaginary people, you tell me.
That's the wrong phrasing. While trying to shoot a bunch of imaginary people he perceived to be in his home. That's what it should have said.
Right. Who he shot at what he thought were people. Nobody shot back. So that's
not a battle. No.
I mean, they had guns or lightsabers. We don't know. But that was in Mark's mind. The journalist did not have to say that it was a battle.
That's a
huge mistake.
That's a big mistake because it legitimizes this crazy guy's belief.
King went over to a neighbor's house where he went inside the garage and broke a window after throwing a gun in it.
So that's how you know he's crazy, because you got a gun, you got something that could shoot out a window.
But to him,
let me take this gun and throw it through. Like maybe he didn't want to waste a bullet. I don't know.
Listen, to him, that's as good as knocking. Now how do I normally enter this house? Oh, right. I take a gun and I throw it through the garage window.
That's it. I throw the garage window. Yep.
Or my house, for that matter, really. He then left the garage, and that's when the police found him. Imagine that. You're at home, minding your own business. All of a sudden, you hear the window in your garage broken.
Right.
What do you do at that point?
Call the cops immediately and go away from
run. Yeah, exactly. I think you
go
just
as far away from that garage.
You take a 7-hour drive.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to take a 7-hour drive.
Leave.
We'll be back.
I leave.
You guys clean it up. It's just the guy from next door who smells vaguely like urine and won't stop talking about his divorce. That's the guy who's in your garage. It'd be like if a raccoon was in your garage, right?
Call animal control.
You call animal control.
Get the authorities in to deal with it so you don't have to.
Catch him and release him into the wild. King was taken to the hospital where he was treated later and released to the police. He gave a written consent to the search of his property, where police found the interior of a house with multiple bullet holes.
Bullet holes from coming inside that.
They're coming from inside the house.
Inside the house.
King faces charges of possession of meth, possession of paraphernalia.
Of course.
What about destruction of property at his neighbors? Are we going to just gloss over that, Jay?
I guess we
threw
are.
A gun through a
garage window. I mean, I know no one cares about the window in the garage, but still.
Long drive. You hear if I hear gunshots next door, honey,
We're going. Here we go.
We don't need that garage door window. I'm just glad that, okay, this guy went nuts.
Yeah, he went crazy.
I know that mom is stir crazy.
Right.
I'm glad she's not shooting up the Zeckert's garage.
Yep. That's
right?
our neighbor.
That makes me feel a little bit better about mom.
Right. Well, and also you have this, what you have is a guy who should not have firearms.
Nope.
But I will say, if he's going to use them in his own house, like this is a new provision with firearms that I'm okay with.
Stand your ground. Shoot your own house up.
If you live alone and no one's in your house,
you can shoot your house up.
Shoot your house up.
You can do it.
I don't say that's a victimless crime.
All right. That is our first story. It's now in the books. When we come back, guess what, guys? Auctions are still happening.
Hey.
And people are still spending a lot of money on things that they don't need. This is Sklar Country, the Virus Edition. Stay tuned for that story. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Want to mention again, got the live Dumb People Town, September 26th. Mike Doty, Mike Birbiglia. It's going to be a blast. Eventbrite.com and look up Live Dumb People Town and search it. You get the tickets, and there's still a few tickets left. So get your tickets now. We don't want you to get shut out. It's such a fun night. If you're like, I need to do something special, you get to go out while staying in. And you can watch it on your TV if you can screen mirror. It's such a fun night.
It's a really fun night.
So, and I know these stories are going to be great, and I know these guys are going to be great. So, again, Saturday night, 6:30 West Coast time, 9:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Mountain. Yeah, I said it.
Boom.
Also, we have a YouTube page. Look up Sklar Country on YouTube, and you can see.
Subscribe. Let's get the subscribership up over 3,000. I think
we can do it, guys. We're getting close. Why don't we try that? Because there are more than
that's a free, easy way to support us.
Free material that we're sending you, plus you can watch us tape these things on there. All right, so as we mentioned before the break, auctions still happening, Jay. Does that surprise you at all?
How does that? It doesn't feel like something that should continue in the
not
pandemic.
with people packed in a room, but you could do
a virtual auction,
silent auction,
virtual auction, Zoom auction.
Silent auctions are fun because when you get to the time, you know what I mean? Like when eBay puts up a silent auction, because people know how to eBay, and it gets to crunch time and the bids come fast and furious. That's exciting.
It's fun.
I think that's cool. So you can do that. Let the bids fly. It's fun. Unlike a gallery at Sotheby's or whatnot, you can do it all in your underwear.
Yeah.
By the way, I get buying artwork and sculptures and whatnot, artifacts that get bid on.
If you're Nick Cage, dinosaur skulls.
Thank you. But there's some things that people buy at auction that I think to myself, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put that? And that's where this story kind of falls into this. I mean, I kind of get why you bought it because of its historical significance, but I don't
under
know
what circumstance. How would you display it?
How are you going to use that? After you get it, what are you going to do with it?
And can't you just do this with anything and tell people it's it?
Right. So you have to have a plan after the fact. Right. Exactly. September 14th. All right. A lock of hair from President Abraham Lincoln's post-mortem examination, along with a bloodstained telegram delivered shortly after his 1865 assassination, sold for more than $81,000.
That sounds like at once too much and too little for a lock of Lincoln's
I'm like,
hair.
$81,000 for a lock of hair. And then you're like, it's Abe Lincoln's hair.
Yeah, but to me, less
would have been more if it was his beard.
Why didn't they just say it was from his beard?
Thank you.
Less important the hair, to me, more important the bloody telegram.
Okay, so I feel like a lock of hair.
Like the hair on its own, it's like, okay, that could be his hair, it might not be. How do we authenticate the hair?
So, but from a lock of hair, that is Lincoln's DNA. We could make another Lincoln.
I don't think so.
You never know. All I'm saying is 20 years ago, we cloned an adult sheep from the cells of another sheep.
That's
We
great.
successfully did it.
That's great.
The sheep lived. We did it. Then we never heard about cloning ever again. Does that surprise you? Does that scare you?
Yeah, because it means that they're cloning people. and
They're
we're just
definitely
not hearing
cloning
about
people. I'm on episode 7, season 2 of Westworld, so I'm deep into the cloning and the idea of replicating brains and all that stuff and matter. I'm into that right now. So I'm admitting to you that is on my mind. But we're definitely cloning people, and they're all underneath the Denver airport. What are they doing?
Why is that airport so far away from Denver?
It is so far away from the city of Denver.
Crazy.
So
probably 1,000 Justin Biebers under there. Probably like 600 Kanye Kanye West.
Like well-adjusted Kanye West.
Just disrespecting 300 Taylor Swifts.
Come on.
It's all happening under the Denver airport.
It's cray-cray, and no one's even talking about it. So you could
should scare all of you.
You could build a new Lincoln. The fact that we've heard nothing about it should scare everyone here. All right? We're building a new Lincoln. That's what's going to happen.
Maybe. All right.
Back to the Lincoln lock. Lincoln's thick lock of hair, about 2 inches long.
The Lincoln Lock. Wasn't that a movie that Matthew McConaughey
Lincoln Lock. 2 inches long and mounted to the official telegram sold at auction Saturday, according to a statement from RR Auction of Boston. I understand if you are a total history buff.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
But who is really trying to outbid people for this item? Doesn't it feel like a morbid item?
Honey, what are you doing there online? What are
Nothing much. Just, auction, just checking around, tooling around, seeing if there's something I want. Looked at some sunglasses.
Cool.
Looked at some old Jordans, Air One Jordan Obsidians.
Yeah, those are good.
Lock of Lincoln's hair.
What?
Some, what did I found? Some Yeezys.
Wait.
A lock of Lincoln's hair, and I found some Yeezys.
Lock of Lincoln's hair.
Right. $81,000, by the way. We're not talking 1865, 81 grand. Okay?
2020, 81,000.
Which you could buy a souped up Audi. We talked about it on the show. Top of the line package, highest, most expensive Audi, probably for $84,000. More money than a Lincoln Lock. Does that feel weird?
That feels weird.
I bet you could get a very nicely
I bet
a Lincoln Town Car.
I bet there's a purse that's $81,000.
I bet you get a Lincoln Town Car.
Yes.
A fully look up the price of a Lincoln Town Car, Jay, as I continue to go on this. The lock of hair ended up in the custody of Dr. Lyman Beecher Todd, the cousin of.
$56,000 is a Lincoln Town Car, top of the line.
You should not be able to buy a Lincoln Town Car for almost as much as a lock of Lincoln's hair.
No, you should not.
Cousin of Mary Todd Lincoln. And I don't know. Everyone in that family was like, how did that guy end up with it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a little weird.
Probably going to throw it in a drawer with his old quills.
Right.
Todd was present at the postmortem examination and is believed to have wrapped the hair clipping in a telegram, which his assistant, George Kinnear, sent to him the previous day. I mean, if you're there at the postmortem examination of Abraham Lincoln, you have to be close to the guy.
Yeah.
You don't just get invited to that.
You don't accidentally walk into
that's
what's
not
going on in here.
Well, it's not a situation where if we invite Beecher Todd, then we also have to invite Aunt Rita, and then you got to invite her friend, and then she's going to get mad. Yeah. That's not how it goes. It's not how postmortem examinations of assassinated U.S. presidents go.
Right.
The above telegram arrived in Washington a few minutes after Abraham Lincoln was shot. A few minutes. Wow. How about sending an ambulance? Why did that get quicker than it? Oh, God. A typed caption prepared by Dr. Lyman Beecher Todd's son, James A. Todd, reads, next day at the postmortem, when a lock of hair clipped from near the president's left temple was given to Todd, finding no other paper in his pocket, he wrapped in a lock, stained with blood or brain fluid. Jesus. In this telegram, and hastily wrote on it in pencil, hair of a Lincoln.
Hair of A. Lincoln.
Could be hair of a Lincoln. Hair of a Lincoln. And he just punctuated it wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Hair of a Lincoln. Fingernail of a toad.
Dude, hair of
a Lincoln.
You gotta have
fingernail of a Buchanan.
If you're
tooth of a Roosevelt.
Look, if you're hungover the next day, you gotta have a hair of the Lincoln.
You get a hair of the Lincoln that shot you. He wrapped it up in a piece of paper like it was a piece of juicy fruit he had just chewed for 10 seconds and had lost its flavor. He's like, let me get something. Let me just wrap it up in this. Anything I had. How about this future historically significant document with Lincoln's brain matter on it? I'll just do that.
Treat it like an In-N-Out burger.
We have Lincoln's DNA. Do you understand we can make a whole new Lincoln?
$81,000.
The item sold for $81,250, which was more than the $75,000 auction house that the auction house expected to fetch from it
so
since they went up for auction online late last month. Listen, $75,000 feels like a lowball
for free.
bid.
Yeah.
That's where you put it up there. You're like, let's try and goose let's get people.
I feel like they were expecting $100,000.
Right?
It feels like they were probably a little disappointed.
That's just them, but this is them spinning it, going like, hey, we got over the asking price. Meanwhile, beforehand, they're like, we're definitely getting 100 for this.
Right.
Lincoln lock?
Lincoln DNA.
That's a lock. The Lincoln lock, you can lock that. That's a lead pipe lock prediction.
But wouldn't this be a great movie? We take the DNA of Lincoln, we try to make a new Lincoln, and then we see what he turns out to be. And
what if he's just really into slaves?
Just a horrible guy.
Lincoln, who became the 16th president of the United States in 1861, known for the Emancipation Proclamation. I don't have to tell you who that is. John Wilkes Booth fatally shot Lincoln at Ford's Theater.
John Wilkes Booth, a major actor at the time.
Yeah, it'd be like, I'm trying to think, if like Christian Bale killed Trump. That could happen. If like Chris Evans got off Twitter and actually killed Trump. That could happen, man.
You never know.
The official War Department telegram with Lincoln's hair affixed to it received in Washington at 11 p.m. on the same day, according to our auction, which confirmed the authenticity of the hair in the telegram. So they authenticated. You said, how do we know it's just not like hair off a doll?
No. It's the sheet. It's what it's in that is the authentication process.
For real, though, how could they confirm the authenticity? How do you know that's his hair? Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
How do you know it's not someone's hair from 1930? Still impressive, but it's like
old hair.
How do we know it's not? I mean, there's no way unless you saw the thing get cut. That's a huge assumption. James Todd wrote in the letter dated February 12, 1945, that the lock of Lincoln hair has remained in family custody, but the auction house said the hair clipping was last sold in 1999. So someone's not telling the truth.
Not telling the truth.
Or it left the family. Someone in Todd's family, in my opinion, started betting on the Redskins and losing in the late 90s. And they're like,
hey, we're going to break your leg. I call Fat Tony over here.
So here's my question. Like,
you want some of Lincoln's hair?
Whenever you see a Super Bowl ring at like a pawn shop or something, you're like, someone fell on hard times.
Someone fell on some hard times.
So if you see a lock of Lincoln's hair out there, you know someone from the Todd family fell on hard times.
That's right. That's 100% right.
It's the Super Bowl ring of presidential hair.
That's right. A Lincoln hair. Like
if you need to sell
president's hair.
If you need to sell your lock of Lincoln's hair, things didn't work out the way you thought it would.
That's right. You got too a little ambitious with your hot tub in the backyard.
But let's get back to the person who bought it for $81,250. All right.
What are you going to do with it?
That's
what are you going to do with that?
So I understand an piece of art. I understand a sculpture. You put, even if it's ugly, even if the sculpture is a piece of garbage, even if it looks like your kid made that sculpture, you put it up in your house,
right in
your entryway. You put it in. People are like, I get it. It's art. Maybe I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? You see like one line on a painting. You're like, I guess
could do that.
You're like, I could do that. And you probably could. But then you're like,
but you didn't think.
You didn't think.
That's like, what it is. When it comes to modern art, when you walk by a piece of modern art,
not
you look
allowed
at it and you go, I could do that. Yeah, maybe you could, but you didn't think of it.
Right.
So it's in your face.
If you thought of it, if you're like, I did that and it didn't sell for nearly as much, I did that exact same thing and this guy stole it.
Now you got an argument.
Now we're talking.
Now you have an argument. But if you walk by something and say, I could do that.
You didn't think of it.
Could, but you didn't.
That's right. What are you going to do with Lincoln's bloody telegram and a lock of his hair? What are you going to do? Hang it in your guest bathroom? And then what? Hey, Jeff, what's that above the toilet?
Nah, it's just, it's
what is it?
Lock of Lincoln hair.
The 16th president of our nation?
Is there any other Lincoln?
Survived the Civil War and freed the slaves? Why is...
Yeah, now it's over my guest soap.
What? Why would... It's in your guest bathroom. Why would you put it there?
Because, that's a place we sometimes go. And I like, I think people come to our house.
I can't believe that's in your guest bathroom.
I know. You know what? I wanted to put it in our bathroom, but we got into a fight over where it should go.
Okay, so you know what I mean? Then it's in your entryway and you're like, wait, people are going to miss it. Why is it in your entryway?
All right, let me just put
Why is this in your goddamn house, Jeff?
Let me put it in my man cave. No, it's not a man cave. It's our playroom.
So I get it. If you're a collector and you collect a bunch of historical stuff, remember that great old commercial about the guy who was like the biggest Aaron Burr fan ever, and he eats a
It was a milk
commercial. Got milk. He gets the phone. He wants to call into the radio station. He calls. He has a big
peanut butter sandwich
and no milk. He's all out of the milk, and he thinks he can do it, but he can't do it. And he's the biggest Aaron Burr. If you have that room for Lincoln, and it's like your study, and it's got books, and it's dusty, and it has an old wooden desk that you haven't used for so long with a bunch of paperweights on it with dumb sayings,
like a thing with a shadow box.
Fine.
This guy doesn't have
That's the only place you can have that. But there's no way anywhere else in your house it's weird. When you're dealing with samples of Lincoln's hair, provenance is everything. And in this case, we know that it came from a family member who was at the president's bedside. R&R Auctions Executive Vice President Bobby Livingston said in a statement, also great. You bought it.
Yeah, great. There you go.
I'm sure it's for you on one level, but you don't buy that unless you want to show it off. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you buy it for yourself, but like you want to show people.
You're paying $82,500 for bragging rights. That's
to
what you're doing.
Off. And now during the pandemic, what are you going to have a big house party and show it to people? No, you got to just show it to individual people who come over.
You're going to post it online.
I guess you post it on
Facebook
online.
and you say, look what I got.
It's a morbid reason to throw a party to me. And, you know, these times where people aren't gathering, it just feels weird. And also, it's not a great look. Like, if you had the Emancipation Proclamation and you had that in glass and you hung that up, that would be impressive. That is part of Lincoln's accomplishments. But what you are memorializing,
what you are holding up as an artifact that you want to see is a little bit of his brains.
After he got shot, what did he have to do with getting shot? Yes, I know he pushed this country to a place where maybe he had a lot to do with him getting shot, in that he took the country to a place where it didn't want to go. But still, it's like Jesus on the cross. People have talked about this. You're going to take his worst moment of his life and memorialize
when he comes back. Is that's what he wants to see everywhere?
That's what comedians have said before, and that is the truth. This is the same thing with Lincoln. What do you want to put that up there? This is his worst moment. Get shot in the head. He doesn't want you putting that up in your house.
Let's not remember that part of it.
Yes, it's not an achievement. It is not an achievement at all. It's just a weird way to celebrate the guy. Worst moment in his life. And then
you're kind of celebrating John Wilkes Booth.
If you are celebrating him.
So that's what this is.
But you're not celebrating him as an actor.
You're celebrating his worst moment.
As an assassin.
It's like, come on.
You kind of spent $81,250 to do it all wrong.
Right.
So that's why this whole thing is weird. But I am excited that there are still auctions happening.
Yeah, I guess it's cool that money's still changing hands.
Guys, do it. All right, that's the show, guys. We love you. Stay connected, stay protected. Don't get infected. This is not a hoax.
But we got the jokes.
Wear a mask, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
La-ti-da, la-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da.